Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy. I've been long-term testing the Wrangler Rubicon 4xe, so I'll tell you guys what it's like to live with. I'll include a link to my carbine guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. This is powered by a turbo 2-liter 4-cylinder hybrid that goes through an 8-speed automatic. It produces 375 horsepower and then 470 pound-feet of torque. You can go over 20 miles on a charge. We'll talk about fuel economy a little bit later. I'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe. It really helps out the channel and it's completely free. We've got the 4xe decal on the hood with the fake vents that look pretty cool though. All the accent pieces, including the Rubicon logo, have blue around them. This comes with the upgraded LED turn signal indicators and then the lights as well. You've got the cool satin grille. You notice the camera there in the center. This has the steel bumper. You've got the blue recovery points and a winch from the factory. So I think it's fair to say that this is one of the coolest looking hybrids out there. Turning wheel setup is 285 by 70 by 17. You got silver there on the outside of the wheel, kind of like a darker, almost like black, but it's very dark metallic gray in the center. These are solid tires, but these are not 35s, and I think that's because of efficiency purposes. But hey, still has a solid front axle, that's important. Now I've got these nice body painted fender flares. We also have more blue badges on the side and rock rail protection. And this one also has the body painted hardtop as well. Here's your side profile with it, and all the body painted elements tied together well. Now when it comes to the key fob, we've got our lock and unlock function, remote start. We've got the Jeep logo there on the back. Just like every Wrangler ever, we've got this swing gate situation here in the rear with the super cool JL plaque on the back. In the cargo area, we have a 12 volts, and then you've got the painted cage that you can see. Overall storage is identical to other Wranglers. You do still get storage underneath the floor, and that little pack contains the charging cable. You get the nice upgraded tail lights with a little 4xe badge below them. Nice steel bumper here in the rear with a recovery point that's blue. And this also comes with a full-size spare. And that will sum things up for the exterior. Just kidding, charging port is mounted up high here on the driver's side so that it doesn't get waterlogged or anything like that. Now let's pop inside. This is loaded up Rubicon, so you got soft touch at the top of the door panel, and then there's more blue stitching inside. And that theme continues onto the seats. Again, you've got lots of blue stitching throughout. The floor does sit a little bit higher in the Wrangler, but legroom back here is pretty good. Rear passengers do get vents, they've got window controls, and then they have a full outlet and some USBs down below. Being a box means we've got plenty of headroom. Keyless entry for the front. More soft touch for the front door panel. We've got the blue stitching down below. We still have the mirror adjustments and the door lock and unlock here on the door panel, and then blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. Payload capacity is 850 pounds, and this weighs almost 5,800 pounds, so it's more than a 392. Rubicon there on the front seat, and again, really nice trim. The seat is power adjustable, has lumbar support. We've got our light controls here off to the side. Steering wheel's manually adjustable. Now you've got 3 different modes for the hybrid powertrain. You've got your hybrid mode, which will switch between engine being on or off, full electric, and then your e-save, which will turn the engine on and charge up the battery. Start her up. Now the new Rubicons have this synthetic trim around the steering wheel. I think it feels really nice. There's more cool blue stitching in the center of the steering wheel. Practical controls like adaptive cruise control on the front, controls for the center stack on the other side, and there are radio toggle switches on the back. Now the gauge cluster is mostly analog. There is the digital element there in the center that you can scroll through different bits of information. Now you can see we've got 0 miles of charge left, and if you do short commutes and charge it all the time, you're not going to use that much gas. Now you probably noticed 17.9 miles per gallon. So as part of the testing, no charging. The reason I did that is to show you guys what the fuel economy would be like if you don't charge it. So if you don't charge it, you're not going to get the best fuel economy. The big benefit of the 4xe is that it's a plug-in hybrid, so if you buy one, charge it all the time. This one has the dual camera, so you've got the rear and the front camera. They both have track lines. And then as for the infotainment system itself, it's pretty quick to respond with your finger input. It does take a second for the pages to load up. And so I would say it's pretty user-friendly. And then the next thing with the screen is it does have dual zone climate you can control with the screen. You also have heated seats and a heated steering wheel. But Jeep gives you nice physical buttons down below for the radio and for the climate and for the seats and all of that. Now this button right here does the regen function, so it'll kind of put it more into a one-pedal type driving. Also still have the off-road cruise control. I've got some USB ports and an aux switch up front, window controls in the center, and then a 12 volt off to the side. Just like other Rubicons, we have 4 auxiliary switches. This also comes with Jeep's Off-Road Plus, which is their off-road driving mode, sway bar disconnect, and diff locks front and rear. So this has probably the best 4-wheel drive system you can ask for, because you have 2-wheel high for better fuel economy, but you still have 4-wheel auto for those rainy days, and then you of course have, you know, the part-time and then the low as well. Cool shifter with the Jeep on top. We've got some cup holders, parking brake right next to that. Got the normal Wrangler center console, which isn't massive, but it's doable and has nice trim on the top. Speaking of nice trim, you got more blue stitching across the dash. This one has the sky top. It's like $4,000-ish, but it's just one touch, and that will actually open up this whole top. And as you can see, it gives you that open top experience all the way to the back as well. Now, I can't find the window sticker, but I reviewed one of these a while ago, and I think the MSRP was like mid-70s, roughly. I might be off by a little bit. But anyways, let's talk about what it's like to live with. So, Wrangler 4xe. First off, I will say, the Skytop is okay for sound for a Wrangler, but it is definitely louder than a hardtop. So if you want the least amount of sound in a Wrangler, traditional hardtop with the top insulation, that'll be the quietest experience. But the one touch is kind of nice for having that like instant convertible fun. And I've talked to some people that have it, and it seems like it's a relatively reliable system. It's not just blowing up on people or basically not working anymore. Now, the modern Wrangler has a lot more luxury compared to Wranglers in the past. When it comes to daily driving stuff, the suspension's actually pretty comfortable. The steering doesn't wander as much as it used to back in the day. It's actually pretty responsive for being a solid front axle vehicle. And so all of that's good. The biggest detriment in terms of daily driving is going to be the noise. The tire noise that you get and the wind noise. Again, this is not, I mean, it's more insulated than it used to be. The glass is thicker and all that kind of stuff. But it's still a convertible, and so there's limitations in terms of how much sound they can keep out of the interior. And that's why I still suggest that Jeep should make another, like basically the same thing as the Wrangler, just not a convertible. Like the Ineos Grenadier is basically that, and those are, I mean, they're not selling nearly as many of those as they are Wranglers, but it's also a more expensive vehicle. But you know, Toyota Land Cruisers, that's what that is, basically the new Land Cruiser, and those are selling quite well, so I think they should definitely do that. Now this powertrain is interesting. So most of the time you basically feel like you have a slightly beefed up 2.0 turbo. It doesn't really feel like the power figures that are on paper, and that's every hybrid. Every single hybrid has kind of like a stronger punch on the low end and then just tapers off and dies on the top end. This is no different. So it's just something to understand that, like, when you see the power figures, it's like, oh, it's pretty impressive, but also this weighs more than a 392, and you really don't feel like you have 375 horsepower. You feel like you maybe have like low 300s most of the time. But it's not bad. It's not bad. And it's nice, you know, the full electric mode, it's got enough torque to move it around, especially like lower speed driving around town. It's actually quite nice from that perspective. So with the 4xe, it's a different lifestyle, right? Because compared to other Wranglers, because, you know, just like a fully electric car, you're going to be charging this all the time. That's how you get the benefit of the 4xe. If you just try to drive this like a traditional hybrid, again, you're not going to get the best fuel economy because the system is meant to be charged up. So this is a vehicle that, you know, you every single day you get home, you put it on the charger, right? And then you'll get, and I've talked to people, you can actually get really solid fuel economy because of that extra range. Again, about 20 miles of electric driving range. Like, it does make a pretty substantial difference. And, you know, it does kind of, like I said, it can smooth things out. The one thing I will critique this powertrain for, and this is every single hybrid, especially plug-in hybrids, there is sometimes a disconnect with the power delivery where you put your foot down and it takes a second for like all of the power to come on, but like part of it comes on and then the next, and then it's kind of rough at certain points. Not the worst thing on the planet, but again, it's definitely something to kind of be aware of. So overall, I think the 4xe is really cool. My personal take, I would rather just get a regular V6 or 2.0 turbo. I'm okay with spending a little bit of extra money on gas and having a vehicle that weighs significantly less. That's going to be better for rock crawling, and I mean, you get good enough fuel economy in the V6 and the 2.0 turbo that I feel like the 4xe, I don't really feel like it's worth jumping up to, especially with, again, from my perspective, the minimal benefit. And it's like, if you want a fast Wrangler, yeah, the 392 is quite a bit more money, but it gives you a much more seamless acceleration experience with that V8 that's naturally aspirated. And again, you don't get horrible fuel economy. I averaged like 15-16 miles per gallon on my 392. So like, this is This, without any charging, gets barely better fuel economy than my 392 with 35s. So again, it just shows you you gotta charge the hybrid. And again, this isn't, it's not bad, it just doesn't feel quite as powerful as you might expect. So what do you guys think about the Wrangler 4xe? My personal take is I think it's cool that they offer it, but I think that realistically for most people it's going to be 3.6 V6 or just regular 2.0 turbo in their Wrangler, and especially considering the fact you can't get this with 35s from the factory. I think that's kind of another hit on this. It's like I'd rather just get a 3.6 with the 35s and deal with the fuel economy that happens there. But let me know your thoughts on the 4xe.